Thank you for joining us wherever you are. This podcast episode is brought to you by the Old Ways Actual Play team. This actual play uses the Trail of Cthulhu First Edition tabletop role-playing game rules by Pelgrane Press. This actual play is performed by adults and in an adult setting. Listeners should know that this show may include mature themes and scenes. All content, including names, places, events, and so forth, which may bear resemblance to entities living, dead, or eldritch, is strictly coincidental. My name is Rena Henze, and for tonight's game, I will be your keeper. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Old Ways podcast. I am your keeper tonight, Keeper Rena. My pronouns are they, them, and we are bringing you yet another episode of Silver Screams, our Trail of Cthulhu 1930s Hollywood campaign. I am very much looking forward to seeing what our full cast get up to in this particular episode. We'll see. There will be shenanigans, I am sure. Before we get to player and cast introductions, I would like to thank all of you, our listeners, especially you, our Patreon supporters. Without your support, your listening ears, we couldn't do any of the things that we do. If you'd like to support us on Patreon, you can do so at patreon.com/theoldwayspodcast, where you will also find various and sundry delights for your ears only. So now, let's get on to introductions. To my right.
Hello, I'm Bunny. I play Yvonne, and our pronouns are she, her.
Thank you, Bunny. Next to Bunny, we have...
Hello, I am Nichelle Schneider. I am playing Lilith St. Cyr. We both go by she, her pronouns, and Lilith is an actress.
And next to Nichelle, we have...
And this is Perry Clark, he, him pronouns. I play Kingston Biko Garvey. I am stagehand and set design.
Yes, you are. Some interesting set design, too, as we found out last time. And next to Perry, we have...
Hi, my name's Courtney. I'm playing Sophia Reed. We both use she, her pronouns, and Sophia is a seamstress, a very busy seamstress.
Very busy indeed. And last but never least...
Hi there, my name's Emily Cummings. I use she, her pronouns, and I play Kitston or Kit Dubois, who uses he, him, who is a friendly but stressed out PA.
All right. So when we last left our intrepid investigators, some things happened. Some offices were perhaps raided. There was some blood involved. You know, the usual. But let's look in for a moment on the one person who was not involved in the shenanigans last time, because she went home for the evening. So, Sophia, you had spent a very long day doing what?
Well, Sophia needed to re-alter a costume that had previously been fitted for a different actor, and someone had been replaced, so that was a new fitting and taking in seams, and it was just a lot of work that she hadn't been planning on. So very, very busy doing all of that throughout the day. And then come the end of the day, she decided to take whatever work she had left home with her because she needed to get ahead of things.
Does Sophia often take work home? Is that a normal thing for her, or is she just feeling the pressure of this particular shoot?
I think it's the pressure of this particular shoot. It is her first big project that she is headlining. She wants to do everybody in the department proud, and she just needs to do a really good job at this because it's her name on it.
Very good. So you take your work home, and you get back to the house, to the little room that you share, and Is your roommate normally home early, or does she go off and do other things? Like, what is her normal pattern?
I think she probably, but often I think she comes in a little bit later.
Okay. So, you get home and you're alone. Your landlady comes to see you as you've been working for a little bit in your room. There's a soft knock on your door.
Oh, Sophia gets up and she opens the door. Hello, can I help you?
Your landlady is a tall, fairly stern-looking woman. She's never married. She lives alone with her cats until she started renting out this room to you. And she's not unpleasant, just very no nonsense. And in all the time you've lived here, she's interrupted your time in your own personal space once or twice. And she comes in, Mrs. Smith. She uses Mrs. even though you know she's a Miss, just for propriety's sake. And she looks down her nose at you over her spectacles and says, "Now, Miss Reed, I don't make it my business to meddle in my tenants' personal affairs, but you need to inform me if you're going to have gentlemen callers coming by during the day."
I'm very sorry. I'm sorry. I have been at work all day.
Yes, I don't know why he called here when you would be at work. I would think that if you were stepping out together, he would know your schedule.
Oh, I'm sorry. Perhaps this is one of my coworkers. I had to go look something off of the lot. Would you mind giving me a description or a name if they happen to leave it for you?
He didn't leave a name. He was a tall young man with very blonde hair. Very blonde hair. Blue eyes, and he was wearing a dark suit. He looked very professional, very well put together. But her eyes go unfocused for a moment. I don't recall him leaving a name, but he asked for you specifically.
Oh, I see. I'm very sorry that he came and disturbed your day. Other than asking for me, did he say anything else?
He left a message.
Oh.
And she tilts her head, and that sort of glassy look comes into her eyes again. It's very strange.
Sophia doesn't often touch other people, but I think she'll reach out and just gently take Mrs. Smith's hand just to try and help her focus.
In the woods, in the deep dark of the wood, the sea, the deep dark of the sea, the city waits, crystal and gleaming. Darkness dances. In the woods, the deep dark of the woods.
Oh,
And her eyes refocus, and she just, I can't quite remember what the message was, my dear. I'm terribly sorry.
She squares her shoulders and smiles. That's quite all right. Thank you, and I'm very sorry that they came to disturb you.
Do you know his name?
You know, a coworker I haven't quite met yet, but I will make sure to speak with someone. They've been seen around the lot, and I'm sure they have something very important they needed to get a hold of me for.
And she just sort of nods slowly and says, "Well, if he's going to be calling for you again, make sure I have a name. Thank you. And no overnight visitors." She
of course not.
touches the rim of her glasses very fussily. Says, "We are a respectable house."
Yes, of course, Mrs. Smith. I wouldn't dream of it.
And she gives you a little smile, and she blinks and shakes her head and walks out of the room.
Sophia will quietly close the door and crawl up onto her bed and clutch a pillow tightly to her chest and take a moment to breathe, and then open her drawer beside her bed and pull out some of her letters and furiously start writing down every detail that she could remember Mrs. Smith told her about the message.
Yeah, it was a strange one, and you can't quite get that glassy-eyed look out of your head.
No, it looked rather similar to what I had seen with the mail lady, I believe.
Leah, yeah.
Leah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the fact that Mrs. Smith doesn't remember saying those lines, that's a little strange to you too.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure it's fine. Nothing to worry about here.
Certainly not.
Do you do anything else with the rest of your night? Do you keep working? Do you ruminate? Do you go to bed early?
I think she's too she can't focus on work. So what she brought home with her is going to be left for another day.
Mm-hmm.
She'll sit and she will write another letter that will never be sent, or won't be sent for now, hopefully, to Howard, just detailing things about the day and this strange, tall, blonde man with blue eyes delivering mysterious messages. She wishes him well.
It's a calming ritual, writing this letter, and it focuses you a little bit. It helps you alleviate some of that distress that you felt listening to Mrs. Smith deliver the message. You feel a little calmer talking to Howard in absentia. It'll be okay. You tell yourself that. It'll be okay. Eventually. And when your eyelids can't hold themselves up any further, you lay down, you go to sleep, mercifully, a deep, dreamless sleep. Lilith, you wake up in the middle of the night, sweating. Your hair is plastered to your skin. Your night dress is soaked through. And you are conscious of having had some kind of dream, but you can't remember most of it. You remember flashes. You remember holding this necklace that your mother gave you that had belonged to your grandmother, and it was burning hot in your hand. It left an imprint of that cameo deep in your skin as it burned, and you screamed and dropped it, and it shattered into a million pieces. And you remember shadows and a storm and the dark. But all you feel in the moment you wake up is terror, and you don't know why.
I think I look down at my dress and be like, and get up and go take a bath, maybe some sage.
You dispel the energy as best as you can. Your hands shake. You can't quite put into words what you're feeling, even to yourself, as you take a bath and try to relax. You still got that image of this necklace dropping to the ground slowly and then shattering. And you find yourself constantly looking down at your palm because you can feel the imprint from that cameo there as it was burned into your hand. And you look, it's not there, but you feel it over and over and over. And you can't quite wash away the fear.
I think I just look at the old mirror that is in the bathroom. That's like partially fogged. And I can kind of like see my silhouette in it. And I'm guessing that Lilith is probably wearing the necklace. So looking at her silhouette in the necklace in the mirror, and then looking down at her hand, and then back up at the mirror, and then back at her hand.
It's disturbing. And the more you stare at the necklace, the more you remember feeling like you weren't yourself in this dream. You weren't you. Maybe you were her, your grandmother. Maybe you were your mother, but you didn't quite feel like yourself.
I think I'll just start reminiscing on the history that I know of my mother and my grandmother.
So you remember that your grandmother, who went by the name of Mary, was an actress on stage. She was white passing, and she used that to full availability. It was the only way she could get anywhere on the stage. And she kept up that charade for a very long time. She was never a huge name. She never toured Europe, for example. But she was fairly well received in the circles she moved in. But she was very secretive, your grandmother. Very secretive. Even your grandfather didn't know much about her history, didn't know much about her family. She didn't talk a whole lot. Most of what people knew about her was what they saw in her performances on stage.
Mm-hmm.
And she was a powerful actress. Inspired your mother to try it herself. And your mother did well when she was still acting. She retired when she had her children. She didn't want to try doing both. That was not the value for her.
Mm-hmm.
And she told you what she knows about Mary, which is not very much. But you do feel that powerful connection through acting, through films now, not the stage. But that connection to your history through your chosen profession.
I'm trying to think if there's a role here in which I could make to like try to remember a little bit more than maybe I am currently recalling. And I'm guessing like the dream has made some of that recall just a little bit more shaky. I think Lilith is just going to start telling histories and doing the oral tradition in the bath, and just, even if it's just quiet, the rest of the house is silent, everyone's asleep, and just reciting histories and trying to recall if there's anything specific that she can possibly recall through that than her current memory. And I think it's more of a meditative.
Okay, so using your oral history skill, which you have,
Mm-hmm.
you tell yourself these stories, and you remember a casual comment your mother made once in a story about Mary, about how there was a whisper, a bit of gossip about her once, that she used magic to get her roles, to amplify her performance, her presence on stage, the way she could hold people spellbound. Because for some people, they didn't believe a woman could have such power, that she could orate like a man. That being the time, that was what people said. And it was just this little bit of a whisper that your mother mentioned in passing. And you remember it as you tell yourself these stories.
I guess we all have to start somewhere,
Mm-hmm.
even if we turn our own demons into our dreams.
Do you go back to bed? Do you settle in for the rest of the day?
I think Lilith's doing fairly decent, all considered. I mean, there was the entire, interaction with Kingston and Kit and everyone the night prior. So I think for this, Lilith will probably just get up for the day, if it's close enough to time.
It's about 4 o'clock in the morning, so you normally rise fairly early anyway. So you get up and prepare for the day. And it is, in fact, the dawning of a new day of hard work for some of you, and a day of more script read-throughs, discussions, costuming, all sorts of things. You've got a lot to do, all of you, and a lot on your minds. And speaking of a lot on your minds, Kingston, as you get up this morning and prepare to go about your day, a very serious-looking Aunt Marcia comes marching up to you.
She does, as I am walking out of the bathroom carrying the glass of water that I took from under my bed that I had just poured down the sink drain. Oh, I don't like that look.
You sent that young man, Brian, to me?
Yeah, it spoke of dreams. You know of mine.
Yes. This is now 2 of you in the same set, having similar images. This is not good, Kingston. I do not like where this is going.
The fact that it's the second one is not good either. You know, it comes in 3s.
Yes. Have you had any further dreams or anything that would lead you to see anything?
Oh, wasn't dreams. It was something that we saw last night. As much as I had been trying to keep us be as careful as possible, I was discovered last night putting up symbols. I think they can be trusted not to go to the authorities or anything of that nature. But one of the fixtures, and I think I had shown Aunt Marcia the picture, there was a second one. When they put them together and held them up to the light, it showed a skull in the image.
There's a very sharp intake of breath.
Yeah.
Something is very wrong with that studio.
Or at least this production, one of the two, because I've been there nearly 2 years, worked my way up to this.
And this is the first time. You've worked with the director before?
I believe so, but I've usually just, been moving stuff around. This is the first major position.
She pulls you into her room off to the side so that you can talk without any your voice is getting too loud or anybody else who's waking up now hearing you. You need to find out what changed. What's different? I know this is a new type of movie for your studio. Horror, yes?
Yeah, there's something about monsters. And if I probably have a copy of the script because I have to work on it for set, so it's like I'll pause and go to my room and get the script and bring it back.
Mm-hmm. And do you let her look through it?
Yes.
She starts flipping through it, says, scientists. Shakes her head. Raising the dead.
Which is why I've made sure the Baron is included and was in the protection spells as well.
That could be intruding on some dangerous territory.
I went to the Baron and also to Oya.
Mm-hmm. As long as you're following the proper rituals, I think I can't see anything necessarily in this. She wrinkles her nose. Horror is not really her thing.
It isn't everyone's.
No. She hands the script back to you, says, something must have changed at the studio, unless there's other things that have been happening that we're unaware of over the last... They've only been open for, 3 years?
3 years, but there was another oddity. Something that came up with one of our, newer staff. But I wasn't involved in finding out more of that because I was working on the symbols.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the new people, the one who also received the letters, their brother worked at the studio.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently disappeared early on. It was before I started working there. I didn't get all the details, but I know we did find some record of him being there and disappearing a few weeks after he started, but not long enough to finish the production.
So there is something there, maybe.
Or someone who's doing workings.
Mm-hmm. If you can find out more about what happened to him, that might give you some more idea of what's possibly going on there. But I have a strange feeling. About these stories, these dreams, this. She points at the script. Something is at work here. But I don't know what, and I don't like that. I don't know what, Kingston.
We'll see what continues. I may need to do some new bags. Gesture to the one that's around my neck. Again, and holding up the glasses like, I didn't usually do this until this started.
Do you want me to make bags for your new friends, if they are also receiving this?
I think so. I'm trying to finish feeling them out so we can get the best protection possible for them.
I will keep that in mind. make sure they are receptive.
Exactly, and I'll see what I can also snag from the costuming area for it.
She nods. She's still got that super serious expression on her face. She hasn't smiled once this entire conversation, and she's normally a fairly cheerful person.
And that brings up one other thing. When we did do the exchange of letters and I showed the picture, I also showed, and I'll hold up the bracelet. They didn't recognize it. Now, it's Papa's colors, but I think there's more. And together with her, we'll take a moment and just look more closely at the bracelet.
Is someone sending you a message or her a message through Papa?
At this point,
And she puts on a glove and picks up the bracelet. Says,
and she'll see the salt that's trailing off of it.
"You've learned well." And she holds it up. "Do you mind if I take the picture and this and think about it and do some working?"
If need be, we need to throw the bones for it.
"Yes. Perhaps when you get home tonight. If you get home?"
I'll try to make sure I come in earlier this time. That particular level of concealment work, I think, is done. We can be more subtle with stuff.
Good. Very well. You will tell me anytime you have a dream or anytime something strange happens. The more complete picture I have, the more I know who to speak to.
Of course.
She nods. She steps back. She's still got the picture and the bracelet in a gloved hand, and very gingerly moves them out of the room.
And I'll proceed to get ready for work. With the semi-dark circles under my eyes.
Yeah, you didn't get a whole lot of sleep last night. And it's starting to wear on you a little bit, even though it's only been a few days. So you all go about your various morning rituals, getting ready for the day, and get back to the studio. It's not as frantic this morning. Now that the first few read-throughs have been done, people are kind of settling in, right? Kit, you've done the majority of the wrangling for the start of things, you think? Unless Henry pulls something else. But everyone seems in a calmer mood. Daphne is still Daphne, but that's never going to change. But the actors are moving a bit more calmly, talking to each other. You see some of the lesser roles are exchanging notes as they're reading through their scripts together. Sophia, you and Lynn in the costumes department are hard at work on repurposing some of the costumes from the Devil's Locket. You don't have to do a fitting this morning, but you are going to have to work with some of the background actors later in the day because you have to start working on their disheveled grave clothes and things, which might be fun. And Yvonne, you're focusing on those background actors this morning. You've got a lot of dirt and dust and the remnants of the grave to do for some of these undead who are going to rise again in the ending of the movie. So it's a fairly ambitious project. All of you are aware, considering the level of funding that you have for this movie. But Kit, Director Moore calls you into his office this morning. Says, Kit, I've got more scripts for you to pass out for the background actors, just direction on stage direction for when we get into actually rehearsing and things of that sort. So I'm going to have you pass those out. But have a seat, Kit.
Is everything all right, sir?
His brow kind of furrows and he looks a little puzzled and says, "How late were you here last night?"
A little later than usual, but I still went home in time to get some sleep.
Good. Sleep is important. Did you see anyone near my office while you were here?
No, sir.
All right. I feel like someone was in my records room last night. Things were in the wrong place, and I didn't know if maybe you'd gone looking for an address or if you'd seen someone coming in. We have to keep things very confidential around here on the set. Other studios trying to find out things about our productions and all that, and he just looks a little bemused.
I'll keep an eye out, sir, but I didn't notice anything out of the ordinary.
All right. I figured you hadn't. You're a very conscientious worker, and you would have told me if you'd noticed anything of the sort. Anyone strange hanging around. All right, well, if you do hear from anyone, let me know. And he looks down at the desk and scribbles a little note in a margin of something. There is something important. Mr. Brewer is going to be here very soon to take over some of the production elements, but he also wants to be more hands-on with what we're doing. Archie Brewer is the producer of this movie. He didn't work on The Devil's Locket. He's worked on other movies. He's known for being a fairly charming man, but he's also very intense about what he does. And so he's coming down personally, not just sitting up in his office doing production and all the other things you assume he does. He's coming down here himself in a few days and wants to meet everyone and walk around the sets and see what we're doing, and I assume make sure we're sticking to budget, all that sort of thing. But yeah, he's an interesting man. Yes. So we need to be on our sharpest kit. We need to make sure everything is up to snuff and that everyone is ready to go, and that we can show him that Mr. Radigan is getting everything, all the best value for his money, and that we're going to really make something good here. I think Mr. Brewer is very, very much behind us on this movie, but we need to show him it's a good return on investment.
Yes, I understand. Do you say more hands-on in what regard?
Well, he's... I don't know exactly what all he has planned, but I do know he wants to pay closer attention to this film than other films, perhaps, because it is so new for us. With the Westerns and so on, he hasn't had to do much because we're formulaic. We know what we're doing. But this is so brand new for us. I imagine he's going to want to talk to people more and maybe come to some shoots, and oh God, I hope he doesn't want to change the script. Well, you never know with producers.
That you don't, sir. Well, shall I let Daphne know, or would you like to?
You can tell Daphne. She's running around doing things. I don't need to interrupt her very busy day. You know how she is when her routine gets interrupted. So if you see her, you can tell her. She's met Mr. Brewer before, so she'll be aware. But yes, a lot going on. I've heard Mr. Radigan himself will be by at some point, but we don't know when. I'm assuming it'll be a surprise visit, just to make sure we're all on our toes. Yes. So, but yes, Mr. Brewer will be here on set in a few days. I'll let you know when I have the specific date for his arrival. And hopefully we'll be in a position to start just showing him some scenes. I know Kingston's doing well with the set design, so we already have some pieces up, so maybe we'll be able to show Mr. Brewer some actual acting.
Excellent. That sounds exciting, sir.
He rolls up a cigarette and lights it and blows this massive cloud of smoke. Yes, very exciting. A lot's riding on this movie, Kit. So much creative freedom and license, whatever we can do under the code and whatever the censors will let us get away with, but doing things beyond just the period dramas and the westerns and all, it's more creative license. and we need to impress him.
I presume, sir, that I know that this is the first movie of this genre we've done, but in the future, is the firm looking to steer more in that direction?
I'm hopeful. I'm an aficionado, you can say, of the horror classics. I've read them for whenever I could get my hands on them. Dracula and Frankenstein and the Penny Dreadfuls and of the era and all of those wonderful things, and they spark my imagination, and I managed to convince Mr. Radigan that this would be a good direction to go in, and I'm hoping they'll let us do more. We can't compete with Universal, but we can do some interesting things here that might slip under the radar a bit more because they're not paying as much attention to us in the censor's office.
May I ask what specifically about the genre? I'm not as familiar with it, so...
Well, it's just the conflict between man and the supernatural, in some cases between man and God in Frankenstein, where Dr. Frankenstein is taking on the role of God in his creation, and the darker side of humanity and the things that lay out there in the dark that we're afraid to even whisper about. It takes hold in a way that a lot of other stories don't for me.
May I ask you something, sir?
Takes a puff of his cigarette, lifts an eyebrow. Go ahead, Kit.
Do you believe in the supernatural?
And he smiles, this big, broad smile, says, well, of course I can't believe in things that are an affront to God. Puff of the cigarette. Do you have any points in psychology or anything similar? Assess honesty, anything like that?
I do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he's being coy with you.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Good to know. Well, thank you, sir. Just curious.
No, good question, Kit. There's a lot out there we don't understand, but, it's all in God's creation. Another puff on the cigarette. He puts the cigarette down and starts rolling another one. You've never seen him take more than about 4 or 5 puffs on one cigarette before he starts rolling the next one.
All right. Well, if that's all, sir, I'd best be getting back to work.
Yes, just make sure Daphne knows about Mr. Brewer, and keep an eye out. Make sure everything's on the up and up as you're going around doing your work.
I will tell her if I can find her.
And he passes you the stage directions to take to the extras.
Thank you, sir.
Well, have a good day, Kit. I'll call you when I need you.
The moment that Kit exits the office, he lets out a very tense, long breath and then continues on his way.
Mm-hmm. So, as you're going about your day, the rest of you, there's things that are weighing on your mind. Number one is, well, perhaps not number one, but high up on the list of priorities is, how are we going to tell Sophia about all of this? Do you have a plan for talking to Sophia?
I mean, we work pretty closely together, so my current plan is, if she doesn't ask about the full set of luggage that I have from last night, I will ask her if she has time to chat about just the color schemes for making things pop against the background of what's going on.
Well, you are both working on the background extras today, so that could give you an excuse to have a little confab.
Yes, of course. We can absolutely talk about that. I have to talk to you about somebody who showed up at my house yesterday. When we have a moment, of course.
Of course. Yeah, I'll ask her to, let's see. There's a break between background cast in my trailer right now. Why don't we compare notes real quick?
Yes, absolutely.
Cool. And I will lead her back to my trailer, where I also have notes on what Kit and I found last night in the office we definitely weren't in.
As Sophia comes into the office, and she'll close the door quickly behind her, and she'll look at you a little panicked. Like, he came to my home. The tall man with the blonde hair and the blue eyes, and he spoke with my landlady, and he was giving her weird messages, and she got all glossy-eyed and water off a duck's back again. It was
just like Leah?
Yes, just like Leah. He came to my home.
Oh no. Okay, so he's come to your home. He was clearly in my friend's home. I wonder who else he'll show up for.
I don't know. I'm half tempted to stay in the parking lot of the studio and... I'm sorry. Are you doing okay? You look... I don't mean that. I mean this respectfully. You look like you've had a night.
So... Yesterday we compared some notes about mail, Lilith, Kit, and I.
Oh, good.
And there's a suspicion that maybe we're potentially being blackmailed or set up to be blackmailed later.
That's awful.
But that might include you in Kingston. And it's just interesting that, they'd target a person in costuming, a person in makeup, props and sets, a PA, an actress. I mean, they really covered kind of every department of the film. So if each of us is being involved in this thing, then if they sufficiently freak us out enough and then try to find ways to manipulate us, they'd have access to any aspect of the film, if that's what they're doing.
You think this is interpersonal between the studios?
I don't know. I have no idea. I just know that was one of the theories that was thrown out there. So Kit and Lilith and I came and talked to Kingston. We unfortunately missed you, but we came and talked to Kingston, who showed us his mail, being that picture of Lilith, and a bracelet. But it was a picture of Lilith that she never posed for.
Oh, he did. When I spoke with him the other night, he did show me the picture. So
She doesn't remember ever posing for that or anyone ever taking it.
Oh.
There's unfortunately more. So Kit was also mailed a photo of somebody, and when we held both of the photos up to a light, a skull shone through, and when overlapped, the skull was just stronger. But they're not on normal photograph paper. It's the weirdest. It's so bizarre. It's almost like a tracing paper with a photo on it. And these skulls shone through, and it was so frightful. But also, we decided to look into your brother more in lieu of being able to talk to you.
Oh.
Obviously, we don't know a lot, but I know that that is part of why you're here, from what you said to me before, and that you're worried about him. And so I need you to never tell anyone outside of maybe telling Kit that like, if this gets back to Mr. Moore, we'll probably be fired. But we found your brother's record of employment here.
Okay.
It's weird. He was never... There's no note of him being fired or disappearing and his work stopping. or ever getting a paycheck. He's hired, and that's the end of his file.
Well, he would have been here for about a year.
A year?
Yes.
Oh.
I mean, when he left home, he had a few jobs, and then he landed the job at the studio, and he would write fondly. To all my knowledge, he was here for about that long.
Oh, we suspected maybe weeks. Oh. A year.
Excuse me?
Well,
I'm sorry. And she sits down and looks at the floor for a moment, and she's breathing. I'm
okay. So Yvonne will get on the floor with Sophia. Okay, here's what we found. We found his file. There was almost nothing in it. It said that he was hired to work in set design, that, he was hired here not long after the studio opened. There were no notes on projects he worked on. There were no notes about raises or paychecks or performance reviews, nothing. It's like he just was hired and then stopped existing to the studio as far as his file goes. It took so long. We found another file that he's mentioned in. We found somebody he worked with on a project. And in that file, it lists Howard as one of the people on his team for a project. And it was in Philip Wilkins' file. And it just listed Howard as one of the names assigned to his team. And based off the date, it would look like maybe Howard's first project here. Or one of. It was very close to his start date. And then that was the only other mention of him we found. We took hours last night. We were here for like 3 hours just searching through files and trying to get everything back in place the way we found it. And that was all we found. A start date and him listed as one of Philip's teammates on a project very shortly after he started. And there's nothing else. And in your file, I took a peek at your file because I thought maybe you'd mention your brother who worked here at some point. And there's just no mention of him whatsoever. There's nothing about him. Though I guess you should know that Mr. Moore thinks you're very good at your job. That was a note on there, but there's nothing of your brother kind of anywhere other than starting.
Thank you for looking. Howard is... We only ever had each other, and no one outside of us ever really cared before.
I'm so sorry. Yvonne will hold Sophia's hand. Just sort of gently cupped between both of hers. I'm not saying what happened to your brother or making any assumptions. I'm just saying it was very weird, almost as if his file was stricken from the record. You know what I mean? It was like he was erased other than having worked here at all. Because nobody works on projects. And there's just nothing, no notes of projects he was assigned to. Even in Philip's file, I think it's more that they missed removing that than anything because it wasn't on anyone else's files who worked on that project that Howard worked with them. It was so hard to find mention of him at all.
Does Sophia recognize the name Philip Wilkins?
You've heard the name, a former lead set designer but he had retired before you came in.
Was his name ever mentioned in any of Howard's letters?
Yes, he would have mentioned Philip a couple of times in the early letters, talking about working with him on one film, which, as far as you know, that film was never released. The film was called The Yellow Road.
Oh, I'm... Regardless of him just disappearing, I know he's out there. I know I'm gonna find my brother, and he's going to be okay.
Yes, of course. And
did you keep the documents that you found? Or...
We thought it would be more noticeable to the person whose office we broke in to look at them if files were fully missing. So okay. I took notes. These are the notes of what I found, and I'll open my journal and I'll flip to the notes from yesterday. This journal, if you look at any other pages, are mostly just notes about projects here at the studio, makeup, concepts, etc. But written in the margins sideways on a page are notes about what we found last night, so that they'd be easier to cover with other things later if I needed to. So I'm sorry that they're laid out weird, but these are the notes of what we found yesterday. Again, stealing felt much more noticeable than just looking and putting back gingerly.
No, honestly, thank you. You beat me to it. I would have gotten into there eventually with I would assume without help, but I'm so... I need to offer my thanks to everybody.
I know I don't know you well, but I don't want this to sound weird. How do I say this? I'll help you find your brother. I want to help you find your brother. Not only does it feel relevant to all of us, but also my Lilith's family. You don't know that we're related. Lilith's family is my extended family, and I keep it discreet, so that it doesn't feel like my career is just because of her, or because of who our family is, that's how I got here, or imply anything about people's skills. But I also really only have a few people who understand me or know me, even including my cousin. And I can't know exactly what kind of loneliness it is to only have your brother, and then also to not know where your brother is anymore. But I do know what it's like to not know who you can talk to about yourself or your life or anything. So yes, I will help you. I will help you find your brother if you want my help.
I do want your help, and I want to help you as much as I can as well. Would it be okay to give you a hug?
Yeah.
Okay.
Vaughn will hug her back as long as she hugs her for, but not like keep her in it. Please don't tell anyone that Lilith is my cousin. It felt like I needed you to understand that I don't have a lot.
I don't make a habit of telling things to people that... I realize I came in hot and all freaked out about all the letters, but that was relevant to everybody. You can tell me whatever you want, and it will be between us, no matter what.
Thank you. I might seem like I just I also come in hot sometimes. I needed to tell you about your brother and what we found. I needed to tell you about our side of letters and everything, because again, as you said, it was relevant to everyone. I am very good at knowing when to keep cards close to the chest. And when sometimes bluffing is just actually showing your hand. So, what an interesting new friendship this will be.
Yeah, it'll be great. It'll be wonderful. I am so very grateful for you.
It was
truly.
I'm grateful for you too. So you're the weird man that delivered the mail. Showed up at your home?
Yes, my landlady thinks he is a gentleman caller. I am not happy about that.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes, he left a very strange and cryptic message, and she had a hard time focusing on what he said. What was it? Into the woods, the deep, dark woods, in the sea, the deep, dark sea, the city waits, crystal gleaming, darkness dances into the deep, dark woods. If this man wants to be a poet, can he find someone else to workshop his work? I would love that.
Well, so my friend's letter was also about the darkness. Yours specifies the darkness in the woods and in the sea, but hers was just that something was there in the dark and watching. It does seem to be a theme. So we should talk to the others about this, though talking to you one-on-one is easier because of our work. Looping in Kingston makes sense. It'll be harder to pin down Kit and Lilith during work hours, though.
Costumes can make an excuse for a last-minute fitting, and I need new needles.
Great. Perfect.
Yep. Okay.
We'll figure this out.
We absolutely will. There is no other option.
Yeah. I'm sorry to put all of this on you. You were the only one not there, but also the one that needed to know the most. And I really like you. And I think that I just really want to help you, because this just gets weirder the more I look at it.
It's very weird. She'll take Yvonne's hand and give it a firm squeeze, and we've got this.
We've got this.
Yeah.
So why don't you go requisition some new needles and schedule that extra fitting, and I will go tell Kingston that there are notes that need to be compared for costuming or for makeup and his set.
Okay.
And we'll figure this out together, okay? Promise.
Yes. We got this. Okay. Let's go.
You go about your schemes to get everyone together. Lilith, you had planned for a script reading practice with Clarissa.
I did.
So, as everything else is going on, and even with your slight distraction in your mind from your dream, Clarissa comes to find you in your tiny dressing room, which you share with a couple of the other supporting actresses, although luckily there aren't really many of them on this film, so you have more time to yourself. And she walks in, she looks around. Wouldn't it be more comfortable in my dressing room?
If that is more comfortable for you, of course.
It's just a little close in here. Not used to not having space.
Yes, it can be sometimes.
Do you have this to yourself?
For the moment.
Oh, well, I suppose we could practice here.
I can open the window, if that would make you more comfortable.
It's a little bit close, yes.
Mm-hmm. I'll go ahead and open up some of the blinds.
So you open up the curtains a bit wider, and you can open the window if you'd like to, and Clarissa sits down very properly. She's got very ladylike manners. She comes from a fairly wealthy family and was raised, as she would put it, right. So she sits down very proper, and she pulls a script out of her handbag and says, we don't have very many lines together in this one. Just at the end, really, when you're... And she looks at the script, trying to find the right word. Reanimated?
Yes.
I'm
dead by this page.
She flushes slightly. Yes. Do you find it strange playing dead? I mean, you read it so well in the script read-throughs that we've done at the table, but isn't it a little... She shudders delicately. Like, that's the only word you can think of to use for that shudder, is delicate.
No, playing... Well, death is simply another part of life, is it not?
Yes?
So what is there not to play?
I suppose so. That is one way to put it, yes. Just not one you come back from.
But that is what some people think, for sure.
I haven't had a death scene for, 4 or 5 years since I stopped playing the smaller parts. I was killed by pirates once. That was thrilling.
I bet it was.
But they don't let me do that anymore. You can't have, unless you're in Shakespeare and it's Romeo and Juliet or something, you can't have the leading lady dying, because then the audience is sad. And we don't want the audience to be sad, Mr. Moore says.
Well, it depends on what the scene is meant to convey. Sadness is a very powerful emotion.
Well, they'll be sad for you, and then shocked when you wake back up, I suppose. I'm sure it'll be a very thrilling scene for you. And she sighs, and I get to scream again.
Do you want to practice?
Oh, of course, that's why we're here. And you can see she's got a little bit of sweat at her temple, just a little bit. You can see just the trail in the makeup slightly.
You're not used to practicing outside of a group, are you?
No one's ever offered before, if I'm honest. I've done some readings with Henry, of course. We've had to work on our chemistry. And you can just hear the resignation in her voice and the air quotes. But that's it, really. And Daphne was there to keep things proper, of course. And, well, Henry is Henry.
You've done several films opposite of Henry. Is that... I'm guessing that the particulars of this script is making that more difficult, or...
Well, I've never done a horror film before, and I don't think Henry has either. And, we're magic together on screen. Everyone says it. You see it in the reviews and the papers and all of that. But the way I have to play off him in this one when we don't... And she stops herself. The way I have to play off him in this one is a lot more involved. And she points to some of the lines. She's got a speech where she has to plead with Dr. Gravenhurst to come back to God, essentially, that it's not too late, that he can stop this abomination, and like just this big, magnificent speech, which Evan added a bunch to after you talked to him. But it's just, I've never had to do this sort of thing with him before. And, well, I'm having to work up to the emotion of it, that's all.
Would you be more comfortable if I were to read his lines and you play yours?
I hadn't thought of that. That's... I suppose that could work. Yes, we might as well try that. Yes, having someone who isn't Henry read them would be probably helpful. Yes. She stammers a little bit. She clearly had not thought this was where things were going to go. She clearly thought she was going to be reading her couple of scenes with you and not reading someone else's part with her. So she's a little flustered, but she's like, yes, we can do that for sure. So you are able to embody Henry. Just the way Henry settles into a role. You've been in read-throughs with him multiple times at this point for this script. You know his mannerisms. You know exactly how he would read a line. And you managed to put your own little spin on it. Just your own inflection as you're reading this very dramatic scene where he is frantically working to bring you back to life after having killed you, and she is begging him not to do this affront to God, and she really gets into it. Like, at one point, she passionately grabs onto your arm, pleading with you. Like, she's not just reading the script, she is full body getting into it. And then she looks down, and she realizes she's holding onto your arm, and she steps back.
No, that was very good. I think that will read very well.
I was carried away a little bit. Oh my. But yes, that's exactly what I think I need to do. That was wonderful. Your impersonation of Henry is very uncanny.
It does take practice. But I have done plenty of readings with him, so...
Yes, so have I. But you bring a physicality to it that's marvelous. Thank you. I feel better now.
Of course. It was very easy. You made it very easy.
She flushes slightly, without seeming to realize she's flushing.
Mm-hmm.
It was good to do this read-through with you. I think we should perhaps do more.
Of course.
Just for the practice. Very good practice.
Yes. The other ladies that I share this trailer with will be back here in the next week or two. So if that would make you more comfortable to do it in your trailer or somewhere else, please do let me know what is more comfortable for you.
We'd have more space to act in mine, I think. So, yes, quite.
Excellent.
And she puts her hand on the door and turns to look at you and says, "Have you been feeling anything strange about the set recently?"
Like what?
I don't know. It's just something feels different. I don't know. Just the way people are moving around and talking, and there's this man, I swear, is following me sometimes around the set. I just look out my window and he's there. Just maybe you've seen him. He's tall and blonde, and He's got very piercing eyes. Just, you feel like he's looking right through you. I don't know his name. Maybe he's with the production staff, or maybe he's, I don't know, one of the assistant producers or something, but I've seen him around quite a bit, and adding to the general atmosphere, I think. I don't know. I'm probably overreacting.
Clarissa, you are not overreacting. I have a question, if I may be so bold as to ask.
Of course.
Have you had any strange dreams recently?
Dreams?
Mm-hmm.
Not that I can think of. I don't really dream very often.
So the script and your evenings and everything have not been... I understand that sometimes talkies like these can be distressing. So I wanted to make sure that it wasn't causing you tension.
She's got her professional face back on. Now that you've had this little conversation, she says, "Oh, thank you for inquiring. But I'm perfectly fine, I assure you." Where
is she lying?
Do you have points in assess honesty?
No, but I have points in flattery.
All right. So you were trying to flatter it out of her.
Mm-hmm. I think
Okay.
I was.
Yeah, I can see that. I'll accept it. All right. So before the mask slips on, you see just this kind of exhaustion on her face. Just this brief moment, for just a flash of exhaustion. But she puts the professional face back on.
I will talk with Kingston as well as the rest of the crew that is working on props and sets, and just see if there's anything amiss. It would be such a shame to have you pulled out of the big moments when you need to be in it.
Yes, can't have that. Can't have that. Thank you very much. May I call you Lilith?
Of course.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Lilith. And we'll have another reading soon. And she saunters out.
Excellent. I hold my door open a little longer and just watch her leave, just a smidge. But then I make sure to close the door, and I'm like, interesting. I think I need to go deliver some coffees.
Oh my. So we will actually leave this episode on Lilith picking up some coffee and thinking about some interesting read-throughs that she's just had as everyone else tries to bring things together. And we'll see what happens when the group reunites, perhaps next time. Thank you, and good night.